Well, it is a morning for quoting jobs for Dirt Perfect at a construction site that is a very touchy situation because of what the homeowner has been through with the most recent contractor. This job here is one of those jobs that kind of proves the point of do your research your contractor, get some references, have conversations, ask for honest opinions. We're going to get this quote going. So we're here at the back side of this house. The work that you see done here was performed by the previous contractor. This homeowner is a local friend of ours that has reached out and said, all right, I hired the wrong guy the first time. He didn't get done with it. I kicked him off the job. Can you guys come in and make it right? He asked me to come look at building retaining walls that come off of the back side of this basement, just so that they have an access into the basement or an access out of the basement. We can definitely provide that solution. But as I went in the basement here, I noticed that they had some other issues. You guys can see water on the floor here. They did have, in the last cold snap that we had, where we got basically negative temperatures, their water line did bust. That's been repaired, but last night / this morning we got several inches of rain, and as you can see, they do have some water issues on the floor. We're going to have the equipment here that allows us to finish digging out this walkout portion of the basement, to also install drainage behind the wall so that those walls don't freeze and thaw, meaning it loosens those walls up and it pushes them away from the banks. You can see the amount of water that comes through these banks, and basically what happens is that'll freeze up to 18 inches down, and we're going to have to go 2 courses here. These walls are going to have to be at least 4 foot tall. You can see the 48-inch mark there kind of allows for a nice slope of that bank from the HVAC system there over to this wall. These retaining walls will have to bump up here. He's got some drainage on the outside, and he's going to have a drainage pipe coming out for the floor from the inside. And we've got to do some work on this side of the house. Let's walk around there and I will show you guys what we're probably going to have to do to mitigate his issues on the inside. We'll come over here. Yes, I know the first thing that a lot of people are going to notice is that there's no downspouts on the gutters. That is a big deal. That is a big problem. But you can see here where the foundation is cracked from being built years and years ago. So any water that hits here and goes in towards that basement is going to create a problem. And that water line is right there where that shutoff is for an outside garden hose. From there, this direction is where that water is coming into the actual house. Over there closer to the porch, it isn't as big of a problem, but the real solution here is going to be digging 3 feet or 4 feet out, maybe 3 feet from the house, from the basement wall, putting seepage 5s back in there after we put a new drainage pipe all the way around, which would be the new foundation drain. Come around this corner, again, dig all this back, turn around this corner, and go over to the retaining wall that we will build on this side of the actual dirt. That wall will run out 30 feet. That wall will run out 30 feet. Again, be backfilled with rock, with that drainage pipe kicking the water out down there. We do have a couple of set points we've got to be careful with. We have a fiber optic line. You can actually see it coming out of the ground right there. The previous contractor hit it and broke it, and it had to be repaired. And it runs across, and then we're assuming continues on around out into somewhere up there where the driveway connects. And then the second set point that we have is a septic tank right there at the end. So I'm going to go to the computer and draw all this out so you guys have a good understanding of exactly how we're going to try to repair the foundation issue and the retaining wall access from the basement. Well, here we are at the actual view from the top of this home. As you guys can see, I'm trying something new here. I am using my Hunt Stand app to give you guys the visual that I'm hopeful will help you understand all the work that has to be performed. I'm not going to dimensionalize this perfectly. However, I am going to get you a close understanding as to what we're going to do. So we are going to add a point right here off of this porch. This is where we have to dig around the home to get all the way down to the footer, which will ensure, as you remember from earlier in the video, it will ensure that we put in the proper drainage and the proper rock to get all of the water that is coming around this house, if you will, down to the actual drain that we will put in. So we're going to label this one foundation drain, and that will realistically be 2 feet out minimum, maybe closer to 4 feet on the front and the side of the home, and then on the back side it may turn into an arena where we actually slope that down a little bit and away from the house. So that gets us covered on the foundation drain. And then back here, right off the edge of this foundation drain, we're actually going to come out 30 feet, a little less. You can see the marker up in the top left hand of the screen there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get perfect here, but that's going to be close enough. And then these blocks, this is where we're going to put the cubes, if you will, that you guys have seen us do in the past. And that will actually be, so we need to be 62 feet at that point in time. That'll actually be the retaining wall that we are, I know that says fence there, but that's not what it actually is. As you guys hear me say, that is going to be a retaining wall. And then we actually have a second retaining wall that we have to build. That's going to be just on the other side of the door. This one here is a slight bit different. It's actually going to come out so far and then actually curve just a little bit. It's still the same footage, 30 feet. And then we are also going to taper both of these so that we have 2 courses from the house right here. We have 2 courses, and then as we work our way out, somewhere around this turn, and I don't know the degree of this, nor does it matter, we'll stack the block in there as tight as we can get it, but somewhere around that turn, we'll end up going down to 1 course out here on the end of this wall, whereas the other wall will be 2 courses all the way out most likely. If DP feels like he can taper that other wall as well, he can taper that to his liking / the homeowner's liking there on site. The other to do, if you will, right over here, this deck is no longer here in the video, in the beginning of this video here. That's actually been tore off. But right here around the end of that, we actually have a cistern that has to be removed. And I'm just going to draw a box here and call this water, because that's what it is water. Cistern to be removed. The reason I like, honestly, the reason I'm liking the fact that I can use this Hunt Stand is Google Earth without paying, and I have never paid to find out if it allows me other options, but you guys can see the different colorations here, and if I click on that, it will actually pull that back up and show me the details of it. You can see there, cistern to be removed, and we're not worried about acreage, and we're not worried about the actual GPS location, but I can click on these things. I can also screenshot this and print it out. So I feel like this might be a better approach for what we were doing to get your guys' understanding of how we may do what it is that we're going to perform on the job site. And we all must keep in mind, I'm performing estimates. Mike may get there and find out that the dirt in a certain area is different than what I thought it was by not digging anything. And he may change that process a little bit, but our hours are still captured, the material is still captured, and the actual work that needs to be performed is captured in this estimate. So if Mike does run an audible, if you will, and do something just a little bit different, we're still covered on that cost. The only outlier that we typically run into, and it happens not frequently, but if there is an outlier, it's typically material. If I calculate the rock needs that go around the outside of this house here, inside that orange line, I might calculate that at 3 triaxle loads, and he ended up needing 2.5. Or I might calculate it at 2, and he ends up needing 2.5. So there's a half a truckload there that wasn't covered. That's okay. We typically have it covered well enough that if we do have to get a half a truckload, we'll haul it ourselves, and it mitigates the cost impact to the actual estimate. But as for that cistern, the blue area there, we are actually going to come over here and remove dirt. This pole barn has a flat area behind it, kind of out into this arena here. We are actually going to borrow, and I hate the word borrow because realistically we're going to steal it. It's not going to get put back. The homeowner stated that he was trying to build a pad up over there with some extra dirt that he had, but he is more than happy to allow us utilize that dirt to fill in the actual cistern. So we'll label that out here as well. With that being said, that is what this entire job entails. The digging around the actual house here in this area, that is very, very important, as you saw the amount of water that was going into that house. So after we get that dug out, we will actually backfill this entire area with what we call seepage 5s. It's number 5 rock from a local quarry. We will fill it all the way up to the top, and only if the homeowner wants dirt on top of it will we put dirt on top of it. Otherwise, with the issues we see inside this basement, our recommendation would be to bring rock all the way to the top and don't put any dirt in that area in which is marked with orange that may cause anything to clog that pipe up that's now at the bottom. And for you guys to kind of understand that, we're going to use the roof line as the foundation, and basically we will run a drainage pipe all along the foundation and then come over to our new retaining wall where it's going to go, and we will run it down the back side of our new retaining wall. The retaining wall will also be backfilled with rock to ensure that any water that gets in behind it does not freeze and thaw to make that wall move. The thawing part isn't what makes that wall move. The actual freezing is what makes that wall move, because ice expands, which takes up space, which can push that wall to the inside, which is the side that does not have any dirt on it, the actual entrance to the basement. We don't ever want that wall to be pushed in. We want to ensure that that wall stays in place, so we've got to mitigate our water that is behind our wall as well. We will also come over here on this side, and again, same exact reasoning, same exact concept. We would put a drain in behind this wall to ensure that that freezing does not cause any issues whenever water gets in behind our wall, because there's just naturally going to get water behind the wall. It's going to happen. And I did find out that the foundation drain on this side of the home right here was still flowing water. It is an old clay tile. However, it is flowing water, and there was no water in the basement on this side of the home. So we're actually going to tie this, what I just labeled as the foundation drain, this red line here, we're actually going to tie that into the clay and ensure that that clay doesn't just dump water right here into this corner and has nowhere to go. We're going to give it an escape path in that pipe. So hopefully that allows you all to fully understand the scope of this job. I do have to go to the drawing board and lay out the actual retaining walls for that 30 feet. These blocks are 6 foot long, so I know our base is going to be 5 6-footers, but we do have 2 courses. So I've got to calculate, what do I need next, 4-footer, 2-footer, how many blocks, so that I can put this estimate together. Well, there you have it. I made it to the drawing board. We have got a 30-foot wall total, which is 5 6-foot cubes. And then the next course, we have to make sure that we offset these seams. So we'll start with a 4-footer up against the house, and that will ensure that we are 2 foot off the end, so that this seam is actually offset by 2 feet. We'll then throw in a 6-footer, which gets us 2 foot back here, another 6-footer, which is 2 foot back there, another 6-footer, and another 6-footer, again 2 foot, 2 foot. And at the end of this block, which is the base, we will throw a 2-footer. So what this will actually call for is 20 6-footers, 2 4-footers, and 2 2-footers. The 2 extra 6-footers, if you guys go through and do that math, you'll find out that that's 2 extra. The reason I'm throwing 2 extra on there is just in case, when we're over here in this area, if we need 1 extra block to taper and roll this hill out appropriately, we've got it. Or over in this area, when we make that turn, if we need to throw another one off the end of it to kind of run this way, off the end of that purple there, that will ensure that we have 2 extra 6-footers to tie this wall in perfectly with all of the slopes that we're dealing with. This here actually slopes that way, and then this side here, as you saw from the video earlier, actually slopes 2 ways. So we're going to do some interesting things there with the dirt, but it is definitely something that we can handle. I'm not concerned about that at all. I just want to make sure that I get the proper materials listed, the proper materials covered via cost, and it all is listed out. I have got some rough numbers put together on this one. I've got to add some of these materials to ensure that we've got it. But I have lightly spoken to the customer about what I believe my estimate's going to come in as. And he has stated if I hit that number, he definitely wants us to add him to the list. And he's not 100% certain when we'll be able to do it with as wet as it is behind his house. However, we are going to put him on the schedule. And if we do see a dry spell, this job here is probably a 4-day job if we can work on it consistently without Mother Nature playing havoc on our plan. But that's the hope, that's the goal. Let me know if you guys like the hunt stand layout better than Google Earth. It does allow me to give you different colors so that you have a better understanding as to what each line represents, opposed to just hearing my words. If that wasn't good, there's a lot of apps out there that a person can download to do screen recording and or figure out ways to have yourself in the video as well as the actual screen that you're working on. But I saw the comments. If you could get the actual layout of what you're doing as the entire screen, this is now the entire screen, which you guys saw a short few minutes ago. But let me know, how can I do it better? If that wasn't good, or if it was better, but there's another step that can get it better. I love the comments. Put it in the comments. If it's where you guys like it, good. I'll keep doing it that way on Hunt Stand. I've got another quote actually that I've got to lay out, which is a pretty significant field tile job layout. We're going to lay that one out on Hunt Stand as well, so that you guys can see the different colorations and things. And hopefully everybody liked the video. And as always, like, comment, subscribe.